So I thought I'd do you a sketchbook tour today. This one is actually my first sketchbook that I ever started, and it's the first one I've actually finished as well. Because I use sketchbooks randomly, I don't tend to do them chronologically, so I've actually got, I think, over 20 sketchbooks on the go, so obviously it takes me a while to fill them up. Now, when I started a course in 2019, the Find Your Joy course with Louise Fletcher, it was a real leap of faith, and I really wanted to find my own loves as an artist. I'd been teaching mixed media and crafting for many years, and had always created things with my business in mind, not just what I wanted to do. So that was what got me started with Louise's course. And one of the things that she asked us to do was to journal and encouraged us to use a sketchbook. And I had always loved the idea of having a sketchbook. I had friends with beautiful journals and sketchbooks with little writings and doodles in, and I've always really liked them, but been too scared to do it myself and thought there's no way I'm good enough, there's no way I've got the skills to do that, or that I've got the dedication to do it either. So fast forward 4 years and I am a sketchbook addict. I love my sketchbooks, and in fact most of my work I do is in sketchbooks. I do a lot of experimentation, a lot of just exploring, a lot of meditative mark making. My sketchbooks are where anything goes, and I do have, as I say, so many sketchbooks on the go, but there's only a few that are themed. I've got a colour swatch book and one that's based more on calligraphy, and I've got some which perhaps I keep for better pieces of art, which I only use sort of single-sided sheets of, so that if I want to take them out and frame them I can. But as the most part, my sketchbooks are a real eclectic mix, and I reference this in the video as well, so forgive me for repeating myself if I do. I started with the cheapest sketchbook I had, literally a few quid off of a market stall, and the paper is appalling. It's really awful paper, and it's almost like a blotting paper. But for me, that got round the fear, because it was a big fear to start a sketchbook, because it didn't matter. It was a crappy sketchbook, and so it really didn't matter if I had to take the odd page out. I did. As it turned out, I don't think I've removed any pages. I very rarely do. If they're really bad, I might paint over them, but as a whole I tend to leave them in there. And the other thing is as well is, if you're scared of starting a sketchbook, is just open it randomly somewhere in the middle. Don't start at the beginning, because that can be really scary and really daunting. Just literally open your book, find a page and make something. So let me show you the tour. So onto the sketchbook. I obviously was really scared, so I wanted to find a cheap sketchbook that I didn't mind ruining. I didn't want anything too precious. I didn't want anything that cost me too much money. So I had a little look, because I had a habit of collecting different sketchbooks even though I hadn't done anything with them, and I found this one on my shelf, and it was, I think I actually bought it off of a market stall. It was probably £2 or £3, really cheap, because that's all I thought a sketchbook should be, to be, you know, not valued almost. And the paper in this is awful, really. It's almost like a blotting paper. It's really not a good quality paper at all. I sort of feel as if I've got to handle it delicately, because it's going to rip out. But it was the perfect sketchbook for me to start on, because quite frankly it was so cheap. What did it matter if I ruined it? So here we go. And I started it off with this quote, because I thought it was just perfect and summed up the course I was doing at the time. Do what you love, not what you think you're supposed to do. And that was what this sketchbook was to be about. So it started off with journaling for the course. My intentions for the course in 2019. Find out what art I truly love to make. I'm still on that journey. Try not to worry about what people think of my art, to not be waiting on the likes on social media, to learn more about using different mediums by lots of experimenting, to play and to be free. So I think that all still stands true, and it's nice to see that I've actually been exploring that for the last, what is it now, 4 years on my journey as an artist. So this is all and everything in it. So that's actually leftover tape from a taped off exercise, and some of these actually I did actually work into a piece, which are in another sketchbook somewhere. But yeah, it's just all oddments really, more leftover tape. This was the mark making exercise, so just recording different items I found in drawers, puzzle pieces, cable ties, a fork, all sorts of different things. And we had to work out what pieces we liked from other artists. So Janika Touts is one who I've always been drawn to. I love her use of colour. So this is just simple little bits off of Pinterest, more journaling. So you can see it's just a really eclectic mix. What was this? Metal leaf. This was exploring metal leaf. Different mixes of paints, how it reacted. Putting it underneath, putting it over the top, different glues. And again, more play. Different things to try. Be interesting how many of these things I've actually tried. And more art I like. Bits of collage. This is an exercise I come back to again and again. And one thing I should say about this is not chronological. One of the things I did was just literally open it up at random and use random pages, because again I found that scary working in chronological order. So this is by no means order of progression. So this is an old sort of taped up exercise, which I still quite often do this. If I've got a piece that's fit for nothing, it can be a really ugly piece, but suddenly cutting it into little squares, you can get some really interesting little composition ideas. So that's an exercise I've done quite a few times. Different composition ideas, things I like. A real mixture. More workshop notes. I know all things what flows, crashes. What's that? Watercolour ideas, colour charts. This was the tape, the kitchen roll that was actually underneath my work because I was doing it, and I just love the colours on it, so I stuck it in my book. Why wouldn't you? A lot of these are cleaning palettes off, so where I had leftover palettes. My printer didn't work properly at the time, so a lot of these are in these strange pink hue. But yeah, different inspirations and trying styles of different artists. Drawing cats. Different exercises from the course. It's quite interesting to look back through this because there's still things here I see that I've explored further. And you'll see some of the ones coming up you've probably seen as other videos as well. Little mindful bits of painting, which are quite good fun. Or my random animal. I think it was supposed to be a rabbit, but is it a rabbit? Is it a goat? A dog with long ears? All sorts of randomness. Posca pens. So yeah, I do like doing these. I need to do some more of these because you get some interesting ideas. Look at that, I love that. Just looking at that one little piece. Scratching marks. Yes, gives you lots of ideas of inspiration. I did quite a few of those. They're quite nice pieces to play around with. Sparkly inks. Negative images. I've done a video on this one as well. Yeah, it turned out this really crappy paper held up quite well to acrylic paint actually. So, and then I go into my colour charts doing all my materials together in a colour theme. Oh, good to go back when you're trying to find something. And lots of space to add in new materials as well. So yeah, that's it, leftover tape again. So that very first sketchbook was just the starting point that gave me the confidence to get me started with sketchbooks. These are just a few of the different sketchbooks I've currently got on the go. There are lots more. And what I love about exploring sketchbooks is anything goes. You can create anything in your sketchbooks. They're your place to play and experiment and just have fun. And quite often your ideas that you form in those sketchbooks will go on to be more widely explored pieces of work. But your sketchbooks, whether you keep them all to yourself or whether you share them with the world, are your place to explore and do absolutely anything. So I do hope that this gets you inspired to just pick up a sketchbook and have a go, and I will see you again soon.